Oh, Disney, Marvel, and that whole conglomerate of nonsense. When they're not getting bitched out by Ron DeSantis down there in Florida, they're making some very positive and strong changes to some of their most recognizable brands, which, if you guys remember Loki, he had a show earlier this year. I'm sure nobody remembers it because there's been just so much content pumped out lately. Like, is everybody still wowed by the visual spectacle that was Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness? Boy, that was just so much fun. Wow. And then, yeah, in a couple weeks time, you can just move on to next Marvel product and be wowed by the visual style and how exceptional the storytelling was. Whatever fucking nonsense it is. I know that there's another movie coming out. Isn't it Thor? Something like that. I'm sorry if anybody's actually looking forward to that at this point. I've said it multiple times. I checked out at Iron Man 3. That was an abortion of a fucking film, and I'm never going to return back to these Caped Crusader outings. They're just nonsensical bullshit because you have people, okay? You have a recognizable face here. Like, everybody remembers Loki from the first, Avengers film, right? It's a very recognizable villainous character, right? But then he got humanized in that mini-series that just completely and totally undermined him. But hey, guess what? The biggest revelation and the longest lasting effect outside of all of that nonsense with Kang, but everything centered around the fact that, yes, he likes box and he also likes dicks. And that was the most important thing, according to the guy who is the actor for him, Tom Hiddleston, making Loki bisexual a small step. Still further to go. How much further? 8, 10 inches further to go? Not the fact that you completely and utterly undermined all of the events leading up to Endgame and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry about the continuity fucking or problems that you ended up creating with the fucking nonsense that came out of that. Don't worry about anything of that. But Loki likes to suck or lick or whatever the fuck he wants to, okay? That's the most important thing. This is why nobody gives a fuck about modern day Hollywood outside of what's going on with Depp and Heard in their trial, and that's just tangentially related. Actor Tom Hiddleston said that the character coming out as bisexual in the Disney Plus series Loki was a small step forward. He said that there's still further to go in terms of sexual representation. Instead of caring about, like storytelling or consistency or continuity in a franchise as massive as the MCU is at this point. No, it's all about representation. In the third episode of the series, Loki hinted at bisexually when he told Lady Loki, "Is that the new Loki now?" Nobody can quite remember. And again, nobody can quite remember the series anyways, because it was fun for a minute, and then, of course, move on to new thing. The mission came after a quirky 18-second ad that featured the folder and dossier, which Loki's sex was classified as fluid. How wonderful. Speaking with The Guardian, I'm surprised that Hiddleston didn't come out as gay if he's speaking with The Guardian. Hiddleston said that Loki's bisexuality... No, I thought he was fluid. I thought, if we're looking at the oppression hierarchy, isn't gender fluidity higher than just being bisexual? Because bisexual, some days you could be a straight, cisgendered white man, which, God knows, that's the worst thing that you can be. But then at the same time, you could also just flip it a little bit, and I don't think gay holds as much weight as... See how nonsensical this shit gets. I don't even need to finish that thought. I'm sure everybody else is already muddle-fucked by it anyways. I was just really honored to be asked, Hiddleston said, to bend over, grab your ankles. We all wanted to retain the integrity of the character. Yeah, right. I wanted to make sure that he didn't lose the bits that people loved. Yes, those bits that were dangling and bouncing off of his chin while doing something new. I thought... I'm by no means a comic aficionado or a Norse god mythology buff, but Loki is the mythical character that is Loki. He's supposed to be all things at all times, god of treachery. He's a trickster, the trickster archetype. He's supposed to be anything at any given time in order to further his goals and his progression. So he could have been bisexual, he could have been all sexual, he could have been no sexual. It really didn't much matter. He would do and be whatever the situation needed him to be. So in pointing it out, it didn't make any sense. It just didn't need to be said, okay? It didn't need to be the focal point. But you get the creativity of the writing staff and the direction from modern day MCU, that's exactly what you get. They need to hit the fucking nail so directly on the head where it just drives it down for the 70 IQ masses that are still looking forward to these new projects. Let's just go a little bit further. I wanted to make sure they didn't lose, the bits people loved. Also, Hope Loki coming out as bisexual was meaningful to people who spotted it. It was a small step further to go. It was definitely important to all of us. Whatever. Speaking with Variety, actress Sophia Di Martino, who played Lady Loki, said that the series director Kate Herron wanted the character's bisexuality represented in the show. I remember when this came out at the time. Yeah, that's a tweet from the showrunner. The last time anybody gave a fuck about what she had to say. From the moment I joined Loki, it was very important to me and my goal to acknowledge Loki was bisexual. She's the showrunner, right? She's the director of the show. Not storytelling, not script writing, not character development, none of that stuff. He needs to be openly sucking dick. God. But don't worry, you can expect this emphasis on sexuality for fucking products that are marketed towards, let's be honest, children and young adults, because Marvel promotes executive who promised more trans characters in Disney superhero films. Great. Awesome. The step in the squishy, sticky, depraved direction. Marvel Studios promoted, that's who that is, Victoria Alonso, as the new president of physical post-production, visual effects, and animation this week. A woman whose studio Kevin Feige described as an incredible part of our team since the very first Iron Man. Great, wonderful. But the very first Iron Man wasn't under the Disney banner. Marvel hadn't been purchased yet by Disney. That doesn't make any sense. She is one of the most dynamic, candid, and accessible executives in the industry. Yeah, she's been known as a catastrophic failure wherever she's gone, so I don't know why anybody's celebrating this, but it is Kevin Feige. Make sure to pronounce that correctly. If Alonso's past statements provide any indication, she will certainly aid in Marvel's Phase 4 plan, which has been aimed to be more inclusive and female-centric. It's the MCU for a reason. Last November, she apologized to transgender actor Rain Valdez, saying, I perhaps have not 100% done right by you. Okay. Alonso told the audience at the Outfest Legacy Awards that as long as I'm at Marvel Studios, she will lobby for more transgender characters in Marvel superhero film. Fucking nonsense. Speaking to Nuke the Fridge in 2019, wish I would have just taken the fridge out of the situation, but maybe they're just referring to her profile. Alonso described the X-Men as being dated due to its exclusion of female superheroes. Right, yes, the X-Men has never ever once included any female mutants, right? Not Storm, not Rogue, not Jubilee, none of them. And even if they were included, I'm not saying that they were at all. It's not like they were central figures. And you know what? Hey, it's not like theoretically the strongest mutant in the cast, Jean Grey, hasn't been, a central figure to one of the most popular arcs in all of comic book history that they've continued to try to put on film to just various levels of failure every time that they do. But whatever, no, calling them the X-Men is a sexism. So yeah, no, more inclusion, which just means, fewer male characters, fewer white characters, and fewer straight characters. A vast representation. Just the straight and just the proper interpretation of the fucking character, okay? Comic book fans want consistency. They see on the screen should represent the stories that are told in the books, okay? Because there's a lot of arcs, there's a lot of popular storylines that can be interpreted and they can be put out there. And that's why this superhero genre has gone on for so long, because there's just such a dearth of content and there's so many intriguing characters. But instead of focusing on that stuff, no, you got to figure out how you can lop off the penis of Thor and run the interpretation of Lady Thor, which was really, really popular for a minute in 2014 or 2016 when they did it originally, and then it ended up failing like every other one of these appeals to groups of people that don't give a fuck about your product. But then again, believe all women and all that kind of stuff, right? Women are the future, the Force is female, another Disney property, right? Just the same 7 shades of shit over and over and over again. But hey, it makes a lot of money. right now, but eventually you're just going to piss off your consumer base. Eventually they'll fucking get wise to this stuff like they have with every other trend in Hollywood, and eventually you'll have to cycle in something new. But what is this? Now this is going to be the second weekend that newest Marvel thing is in the studios right now, and wonder if the company will have anything to say about this, okay? Disney Marvel's Doctor Strange actress and husband convicted of multiple child sex charges. What's going to happen to them? I'm just wondering, okay? Because God knows if there was any inklings that it was Benedict Cumberbatch, because isn't he Doctor Strange? Yeah. If he was doing anything like that, he would have been publicly yeeted from the studio about yesterday. But see what goes here. British film actress Zara Pythian, who appeared in Doctor Strange alongside Benedict Cumberbatch, has been found guilty of grooming and sexually abusing a girl in tandem with her husband, Victor Markey. The latter was also found to have sexually abused another girl on his own. I'm sure she had nothing to do with that, right? Times reports Pythian, who is 37, was found guilty of 14 offenses in Nottingham Crown Court, while her husband, who is 59, was found guilty of 18. The court heard from how the couple met when he was her martial arts instructor. Oh, and she went on to have a successful career in martial arts as a stuntwoman and actress. When Victor Markey gave his evidence, he admitted sexual activity with one of the girls, but also claimed she was 18 at the time. Yeah, okay. Whatever, pedo. The prosecution said he had engaged in numerous threesomes with a girl and Pythian, starting when the girl was 13. It'd be alright if both of them were just, instead of getting, sentenced for anything, they were just hanging from a lamp pole. That'd be cool. It's funny, right? So this is a court case. It's all been said and done, and it's all been decided, but has anybody publicly moved away from her when it comes to Disney and Marvel? I mean, you take a look at it, and she still has work on the books here, even after the accusations initially came out. Okay, they might be lower prestige, but it just goes to show you that there's a two-tiered society in Hollywood. But remember, guys, hashtag believe all women. Women are sugar and spice and everything nice, right? But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. Why don't you follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.